South Africa has recently become the focal point of an intense and complex discussion involving employment equity, racial dynamics, and economic policies. This discourse has been heightened by the actions and public statements of influential figures such as Minister Gayton McKenzie and global entrepreneur Elon Musk. To truly understand the weight of these developments and the emotions they stir, it's important to explore the historical roots that have shaped the nation's present situation. South Africa's past is a tapestry of struggle, pain, resilience, and an ongoing effort to build a more just and equal society. Understanding this history is crucial to making sense of the current debates and the passionate reactions they provoke. For nearly half a century, from 1948 to 1994, South Africa endured the harsh and discriminatory policies of apartheid, a state-enforced system of racial segregation. This regime systematically stripped non-white populations of their rights, limiting their access to quality education, healthcare, housing, and economic opportunities. The impact of these policies was devastating, creating a deeply divided society where wealth and privilege were concentrated in the hands of the white minority, while the majority of the population was relegated to the margins of the economy and social life. Even after apartheid officially ended, its scars lingered, shaping the country's social fabric and making it abundantly clear that simply removing oppressive laws was not enough to undo the damage caused by decades of systemic injustice. In response to this enduring inequality, the newly democratic South African government introduced measures designed to redress historical wrongs and promote greater economic inclusion. One of the most well-known of these policies is Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment, or BBBEE. This framework was created to increase the participation of Black South Africans, a term encompassing African, colored, and Indian populations, in the country's economy. The policy established targets for Black ownership, management representation, and employment quotas in various industries. The intention was not to exclude or punish any group but rather to level the playing field and create opportunities for those who had been deliberately excluded for generations. The underlying principle was that true equality could only be achieved through deliberate, corrective action aimed at dismantling the structural barriers that persisted long after the formal end of apartheid. Against this backdrop, Minister Gayton McKenzie has emerged as a vocal and unapologetic proponent of employment equity. As the leader of the Department of Sport, Arts, and Culture, McKenzie recently faced public scrutiny after his department released a job circular specifying that preference would be given to colored males, Indian males, white males, colored females, and Indian females. This announcement quickly sparked controversy, with critics accusing the minister of promoting reverse discrimination. Social justice commentator Yusuf Mbremji took to social media to question the policy, tagging McKenzie and implying that such preferences were unfair. McKenzie, however, did not back down. In a pointed response, he highlighted that the policy was rooted in South Africa's Employment Equity Act, which mandates fair representation of all racial groups in the workforce. McKenzie argued that his duty as a public servant was to ensure that every race, especially those historically marginalized, had a seat at the table. He emphasized that in cases where specific groups had been consistently overlooked, it was not only justified but necessary to prioritize their inclusion. On his personal Facebook account, he reiterated his stance, stating that his goal was to build a department where all races were represented, and that addressing the imbalances of the past was a crucial part of that mission. McKenzie's stance is deeply personal and political. As the leader of the Patriotic Alliance, a party with a strong base of support within the colored community, he has long championed the cause of people who feel forgotten in South Africa's post-apartheid landscape. The colored community, a diverse group with a complex history, has often found itself caught between the country's binary racial narratives. While apartheid oppressed them, they were sometimes excluded from Black empowerment policies in the new South Africa. This sense of being overlooked has fueled a growing demand for recognition and justice, sentiments that McKenzie has harnessed to build his political platform. Despite accusations that he is pandering to his base, McKenzie has repeatedly insisted that his advocacy is not about elevating one group at the expense of another but rather about creating a truly inclusive society where no one is left behind. He has described his party not as a colored party, but as a colorful party that embraces all South Africans, regardless of their racial or ethnic background. His message is that South Africa can only move forward by acknowledging and addressing the unique struggles of each community, rather than pretending that the playing field has already been leveled. Meanwhile, this debate has been further intensified by comments from Elon Musk, the South African-born billionaire and CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. Musk, who left South Africa as a teenager, has publicly criticized the country's BE laws, describing them as racist and blaming them for blocking his plans to launch Starlink, his satellite internet service, in South Africa. His comments have sparked fierce reactions, with supporters applauding his candor while detractors accused him of misunderstanding the country's complex realities. Musk's remarks have added fuel to an already raging fire, exposing the fault lines in South Africa's ongoing struggle to reconcile its painful past with its aspirations for the future. To many South Africans, Musk's criticism feels detached from the lived realities of those who still endure the long shadow of apartheid. For others, his words resonate as a critique of a system they believe has failed to deliver the economic liberation it promised. The clash of perspectives underscores just how emotionally charged and deeply personal these issues are for many South Africans. As these debates unfold, they force the country to confront uncomfortable questions about what justice looks like and how it can be achieved. Can true equality be attained without policies that actively uplift those who are deliberately pushed down? What is clear is that the road to a more just and inclusive South Africa is neither straight nor smooth. It is a path that requires difficult conversations, a willingness to confront painful truths, and a commitment to building a future where every South African, regardless of their race, class, or background, has a fair shot at success. Figures like Gayton, McKenzie, and Elon Musk represent different facets of this conversation, reflecting the many perspectives and passions that shape South Africa's national discourse. Let's keep this conversation going. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think employment equity is still necessary, or has it outlived its purpose? What are your views on the meeting of historical redress and contemporary economics? And most importantly, what do you think the path to a truly inclusive South Africa looks like? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth discussions on the issues that shape our world.